Hi, I'm AJ and welcome to Piovis Insights. You're probably on this video because you found that your files on your QNAP storage device now mysteriously ends in 7z, that they're encrypted and it's asking you for a password that you didn't set. If I'm right in this, then I'm sad to say that you may be a victim of cybercrime. But the good news is there is a solution. And even if you haven't found one already, I might have a solution that will work for you today. Okay, before we dive into the video, I've broken this video up into 4 simple parts. The first part is, well, what's happened? What is this malicious attack and what does it mean for you? The second is the solution. And the solution is going to be broken into very simple steps in plain English. So even if you're not a techie, this will be a breeze. Well, part 3, once we've had that mini victory, is all about how do we close the security loops. Again, very simple, practical steps that you can follow to make sure that the risk of this happening to you again is very small. And then finally, I'm going to give you some recommendations on my preferred storage devices. Backups are important. They're crucial to making sure that if you have another rainy day, you're not worried that you're going to lose those private and priceless files again. Okay, so what's happened? Well, in April 2021, a group of cybercriminals infiltrated QNAP storage devices targeting individuals and small to medium-sized businesses across the globe. They effectively exploited known vulnerabilities within a QNAP storage device, and they installed a certain type of malware, malicious software, specifically called ransomware. Now, true to its name, this malicious software encrypted and locked out hundreds of thousands of individual files and held them hostage until the user paid a certain amount. The way that they held them hostage was they implemented a 32-character unique password, which was custom to the specific QNAP storage device. Now, why does that matter? What does 32 characters mean? Well, it means at that length that it's practically impossible to guess or even professionally crack by any software and any specialist around the world. And the only way that you're told that you can get these files is if you pay the ransom demanded by these cybercriminals. In this particular case, this gang demanded between 0.01 Bitcoin and 0.5 Bitcoin. So in today's terms, that's roughly between $500 and somewhere around $28,000 to pay for a password to obtain the files that you already own. Now, I don't know about you, but that's disgusting behavior. To be told that your precious memories that you could probably never recover, so photos and videos, you will never get them back unless you pay for something that already belongs to you. And also to jeopardize small to medium-sized businesses that are already finding it difficult to even survive is outrageous. I don't think that we should be paying cyber criminals and incentivizing them to do us more harm. And that's why I've been working so hard to find a solution, and I'm excited to share it with you. Because together, this is how we fight cyber criminals. So, before we get into the solution, and I know you want to get there, let me make a plea. And that plea is if you have any technical capability and you think you can help answer some of the questions below, then please take the time to do that. And even if you have found a solution that's not my own, I would love you, whether you're technical or not, to share that below and pay it forwards, because we should be helping each other and not tolerating this behavior. Okay, so your solution depends on a few scenarios. The first is that you haven't turned off your QNAP storage device since being infected. And if that's you, that's great. Because within only a few hours of this malicious attack being made aware, a security researcher by the name of Jack Gable released some instructions saving hundreds of users thousands of dollars. And I've found the simplest guides for you. Have a look at the links below and please follow them. I wish you the best of luck. But even if you have turned off your NAS drive, It's okay, because I did it too, and I found a solution. So I'm going to talk you through that. Great. Let's get on to the solution. So the first step is to confirm that you're a victim of this particular ransomware. To do that, go to your QNAP storage device. I've mapped it to my computer, and have a look at the files. As you can see here, each of my individual files now ends in 7z. This is what we want to confirm. If you're seeing anything else, then please stop this video, because this video is not going to give you a solution. To demonstrate what this problem does, if I double click on it, you'll realize that it opens up in WinRAR or whatever application you use to zip and encrypt your files. In this case, if I try to extract the files, it's going to ask me for that password that I didn't set. So let's find that password for free. We X out of this. Let's take a mental note, or even write it down, the date that your files were infected. And this is important to quickly find whether or not your QNAP removal application has identified this malware and removed it. Because if it has, then that log is going to contain the password that you need to decrypt your files. Okay. So please log into your NAS drive. I've already logged in via my web browser. Move over to search and start typing in the word malware. So type in MAL and you should see the application in the App Center. So once you click on that, it will open the event logs. So just click on that button on the left-hand side. So start scrolling down. You can see the date column here until you see an amber line. Okay, and the amber line basically tells you that the application has done something. In my case, it's identified this malware program and it's tried to remove it. And that's important. And the reason why the infection date's important is you need to make sure that the malware application has removed something after the date you were infected. Because if it's removed something before, the chances are you're not going to have the password because it's removed something else. That's not what we want. So in my occasion here, you'll see that the malware removal application removed an offending file on the 26th of April, 4 days after I was infected. That's great. So in order to find the log that contains the password, we now need to connect into the QNAP storage device and actually see the system files. So that's step 3. So to do that, go into Google and type in Total Commander. There's multiple ways to do this, but this is my preferred way. Now, Total Commander is again another file manager, kind of like your My Computer, but it will allow you access to actually see the system files. So to download this piece of software, and it is free, click on Download and select an option that's relevant to your specification. So my computer is 64-bit, so I downloaded that version. But because I've already done it, I'm not going to go through the steps again. It should be pretty straightforward. But if you get stuck, drop me a comment below. Once you've downloaded that, now we need to download a plugin that creates the connection between your computer and the QNAP storage device. So click on Add-ons and click on Packer Plugins. Now what we're looking for is a Secure File Transfer Protocol file, so SFTP. The fastest way to find it is just press Ctrl F to find, type in the word secure and press enter. And immediately you'll be taken to the right plugin. So download this, but don't extract the file. Just X out of it once it said it's downloaded. Now to install the plugin, it's very easy. I want you to click on the Start button of your computer and type in Total for the Total Commander option. Press enter. Upon opening the application, you will see a request to press the button corresponding to what's shown on your screen. So in my case, it's number 1. Don't be put off by the credit card signs. Again, it's a free application. They're just asking for donations. Next, I want you to click on this drop-down box here in the top left-hand corner, and I want you to find where you've downloaded that plugin. So in my case, it went to my downloads folder. So if I click on Computer, and downloads, I save the file in this folder. So once you double click it, it will actually ask you if you want to install it. And that's why you didn't need to extract it. Again, I'm not going to do this because I've already installed it, but just click yes and follow the steps. Once you've done that, head over back to Total Commander and the drop-down list, and this time choose Network Neighborhood. And you'll see the plugin's been installed. You now have a secure FTP access into your QNAP storage device. So double click that. To set up your connection, press F7 on your keyboard and type in a path name that represents your storage device. It can be anything you want. This doesn't impact the solution. So if, for example, I typed in QNAP and press enter, I will then have to type in the IP address, which is the location of your QNAP storage device. One tip to do that is if you go to your browser where you opened your login and just copy the numbers at the top. You can go back into Total Commander and just press Ctrl-V to paste. Next, type in your username and password that you use to log into your QNAP device as an administrator. Okay, that's important because we need access to the system files. Once you've done that, press OK. But once again, I already have, so I'm just going to X out of this. And I've set my path as NAS. That's what I've called it. You may have called it something else. But double click on that connection. And it should now, hopefully you'll see your system files on the left-hand side. That's great news. We're almost there, so hang in there. Next, I want you to find the folder called share. Double click. Then I want you to find the folder cachedev1_data. Double click. Then I want you to scroll down and find the folder .qpkg and double click. Next, double click on the folder that's called malware remover. That's the application that we checked earlier. With any hope, you're going to see a file called 7z. Double click on this and just say yes. Great. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, which is a whole lot of cryptic text, that's exactly what you want. And I'm hoping you're going to see a string of text that's consistent on many lines. So in this case, it's this one here. If you're seeing that, that's your password. That must be really good. You found the password. So I want you to copy that and paste it somewhere where you can pick it up again later. So I've opened Notepad and I'm going to press Ctrl-V to paste. And this is important. I need you to remove any quotation marks that you see and also the first character of this string. In this case, it's the letter P. So remove that. This 32 character string is actually the password that we are going to use to unlock the files. Before we do anything else, let's test it out. So this is your drum roll moment. So Ctrl-C to copy. Go back to where you found your locked files. Double click on it, as we did earlier. And try to extract it somewhere. So I'm going to try to extract it to the same folder I found it. And I'm going to press Ctrl-V, which is paste. And with any luck, it's hopefully unlocked your file. Okay, so you saw in my case, the password didn't work. This is an important lesson. So let's have a look at why that happened. If I go back to Notepad, I copied in the space. So you don't want any spaces there. So again, backspace until there's no spaces. Ctrl-C to copy the password. And let's try that again. Extract this folder and Ctrl-V to paste. And now there were no error messages. So with any luck, we should have the file free. So if I scroll down, now I see a folder and the file name that I've tried to unlock. And there we have it. Success. So now that you have your password, you have two options. Your first option is, if you don't have many files, you can just copy and paste the password into each individual file. And that's okay if you only have a few. But if you have thousands of files, like myself, then the chances are you're not going to be putting in that time. So you don't have to believe what the media says again, in that you're going to have to do it individually. I've actually found a solution that allows you to unlock multiple files at the same time. I've given you the video in the link below, and it's only a few short steps. So I hope that helps. But if you have any questions or you get stuck, please write me a comment below. Great. So if you made it to part 3, then congratulations. I'm assuming you've been successful in unlocking your files. So that's fantastic. I want to keep that high spirits flying, right? And the way to do that is by minimizing the chances of this happening to you again. The good news is it's only a few short steps, and I'm going to walk you through them in plain English, step by step. So the first thing we're going to do is go into our QNAP device and update our firmware. So to do that, click on Control Panel, Firmware Update, and check for update. Now, of course, mine's now updated, but many of you would still have to have yours updated. And this is really important for one simple reason. Technology doesn't stop changing, and neither do cybercriminals. They will continuously look for new and inventive ways to get at your files, to either cause disruption for the heck of it, or to make you pay, as in this case. So QNAP continuously tries to launch new patchware and new updates which close the gap on those newly found vulnerabilities. So help QNAP help yourself by closing some of these things off. Now, in the same vein, we need to close off other access routes into your QNAP storage device, such as software. So click on search and go to your app store. So type in app and app center. And as you are presented with all the applications installed on your QNAP storage device right now, remove any applications that you don't need. Each application has a slight risk of providing an access way for cyber criminals to infiltrate your system. This is particularly true for applications such as My QNAP Cloud. Okay, so if you don't use that, or if you don't access your QNAP storage device using the internet, then get rid of these applications as soon as you can. To do that, click on the down button against the application and click on remove. It's as simple as that. And for those applications that you choose to keep, there'll also be an option to update it. Updating applications is a great way to, again, close off and minimize some of those security vulnerabilities, but also to make sure that the apps are actually working to their full potential. Now, I know you might be kind of scoffing at this because there are times where updates screw up the application, but mostly they're there to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of an application and its features while closing down the security problems. So please try to keep your applications up to date. And again, keep an eye out for any applications like My QNAP Cloud that allow a direct connection to the internet, because those are your biggest risks. So if you're not using it, close it down. In the same vein, we're going to do the same thing with the processes that are running continuously that you may or may not already be aware of. So again, what we want to do is close down any processes that we don't need. To find that, X out of App Center, go back to Control Panel, and this time I would like you to click on System Status. Once you're in System Status, navigate to System Service, and you'll see a list of all the services that are enabled or disabled. Have a look for any services that are enabled that you don't actually need. Okay, so in this case, as an example, if I want to disable FTP service, I'll click on search and type in FTP. Oops, let's try that again. and then disable it from this dedicated window. So it says enable. Obviously, I've unchecked it, which is why you've seen it as disabled in the last field. So I can't go through each and every one of these for you. I'm sure there are plenty of YouTube channels and online assets that can walk you through some of these things. But the message is simple. Stop what you don't need, uninstall what you don't use. It's as simple as that. The next thing we want to do is something that you've heard of hundreds and hundreds of times, I'm sure. Okay, and that is changing your username and password. Now, I'm sure if you're like me, you're tired of remembering hundreds of different passwords, but it's critical that you do, because complacency breeds risk. And I think I've said that before. Criminals would find an easy way, if they can, into your house to cause this damage. And you want to make it as complicated as possible. So how many of you out there continue to use the username admin to access your QNAP storage device? So in order to change this, what we want to do is, again, go into Control Panel, click on Users, and you'll be presented with a list of user groups that you've created. For this example, I've actually kept admin open, but generally speaking, I'd have it disabled. I need you to do the same thing. So click on Create New User, and you can actually choose the type of user group that's allowed to access your QNAP storage device. So there's two different categories. There's administrator and there's everyone else. So I would like you to click on administrators if you already got your admin account still enabled. Click on that, type in a new username and password. But just remember, the more complicated your password, the less likely it is that anyone's going to infiltrate your system again. So use symbols, use numbers, use uppercase and lowercase characters, and even use special characters such as asterisks as well. The more complicated it is, the harder it is for criminals to access your drive. Once you've done that, I would like you to log out of the QNAP storage device and log back in with your new user account. Okay? So once you've done that, you will then have an option to select admin. Here it's grayed out because I'm logged in as admin, and disable the account. And that's really important. Once you've done that, then the next thing that you need to do is think about, have you set up a guest Wi-Fi? Now, what I mean by guest Wi-Fi is it's quite common for ease and convenience for a number of users to set up a Wi-Fi channel that doesn't have a username or password. And they usually use this to connect to smart devices around the home, for example, or if you live with a number of people. But again, you're literally leaving your door unlocked. And as we've seen, and the reason why you're on this video is cyber criminals want to take advantage of that, but you don't want to let them in. So if this is you, please log into your router, close off those guest Wi-Fi options, and set up a username and password for each channel you want to keep open. Again, this is going to help you in the long run. The final thing that we want to do, again, trying to make it difficult for your drive to be located by cyber criminals, is we want to change the default port number. It's not that difficult. Click on Control Panel again. This time, I would like you to click on General Settings. And in most cases, as you can see here, the default system port is 8080. That's default. That means it's not just you who has this port. Hundreds of other users have the same thing. And for this, it's a quick win for a cyber criminal. So make it that little bit more difficult. Change the port number. It can be anything that you want. And if you use a secure connection by HTTPS, you can change this port number as well. And just remember to reflect this on any hardware or software device that actually requires a port number. For example, your router, it might. But by doing all of these small things together, you're making it that much more difficult for cyber criminals to obviously, do the damage they have been. And now, within less than 10 minutes, we have made your device more secure than ever before. So I really hope this helps. There's obviously more steps you can take to make things more and more difficult. And I'll include some really good guides for you to follow in the links below. I have no affiliation with them. They just have my respect for taking the time and effort to help users such as yourself and myself out and combat against cybercrime. Okay, fantastic. So just before I let you go, I want to have a quick chat about backing up your files. Now, I know you may have heard this 100 times already, but I'm going to say it one more time because backing up your files is crucial. Now, whether you're unfortunate to have another cyber attack or have a device malfunction or some other hazard, I don't wish it on you, but it does happen to the best of us. I want to make sure you don't lose any sleep because you would have had your precious, irreplaceable files backed up in a separate device. Now, to help you, I've created my top 5 favorite storage device in a list below. But if you have other preferred devices, then please share them in the comments below because it might help others. Certain devices aren't available in certain countries, for example. Okay, well, I hope this video helped you, but if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching.